Hello, beautiful souls. So today I thought I would unpack my abundance bowl and talk a little bit about the concept of surrender. This is my abundance bowl. See? You are in the shelf where I'm creating my bowl and have some of my deities set up. The concept of surrender is something I have been deeply exploring the last couple months. My now husband, a month and a half ago, was in the hospital, and there was a good couple days at least where I didn't think he was going to make it. And as someone who deeply believes they manifest their reality, I kind of got into this like resistant panic of, well, I can create what I want. I have to create this. Like, I have to make this better. Like, it's my responsibility to myself, my son, my husband, to manifest him getting better. And as you can imagine, it was a resistant energy. Of course, what you resist persists, and what I was resisting was the possibility that my reality was going to shift very drastically towards something I didn't want. And there's all those conversations of like, well, what if universal, what we've chosen before we come here, blah blah. And I was like, no. And after a while, it's like I couldn't take holding that resistance anymore. It was too, I could feel it in my body. I couldn't take it anymore. I was pushing so hard against this possibility that I was so anxious and so not in alignment with what I wanted, which was ease and health, right? And I got to this place of, it feels very dark. I got to this place of, this is his journey, my husband's. If he's deciding whether it was a soul contract or what was going on in his life, whatever, if it is his journey to go, I need to accept that. And it happened very quickly. I surrendered to the possibility of what I was so deeply resisting, because I didn't even want to go there, right? Of course, if you're manifesting, you're like, don't have the thought, don't think about the thing. But saying don't think about the thing isn't really possible. Say don't think of pink zebras. You're going to think of pink zebras, right? So I breathed into, just literally, I thought about it. I was like, well, what if that does happen? And I let myself sit with the possibility that was going to happen without resisting it, just accepting it, almost like it had already happened. And it was similar to a practice a while back, and I don't remember it completely, that Teal Swan talked about it when you're in a state of deep depression. Just like, what really is painful about it is your resistance to it, because you're pulling against it instead of just accepting and being present. And so that's kind of what it was, is I just accepted it and let it wash through me, and just accepted it for a part of existence, a part of reality, just one of the many facets of the universe experiencing itself. And what was strange, and you probably wouldn't expect this, is that came with a great amount of peace. And I actually believe that is what tuned my vibration. It brought me so much peace because I was no longer resisting. I was just present with the moment. And the moment is peace. Like, everything is neutral until you decide to put a story around it. And when I released the need for that possibility to be painful, but just is, you know, I thought about how my husband is an infinite being and how he has many lives. And it's not up for me to determine what that journey is. You know, we're on a journey together. I can manifest what I want for my life, and obviously I can tune into the reality I desire, but it's not my choice to determine what his journey is. And I accept the fact maybe this is the end of his. Not that that's what I wanted, but I accepted that that might be true. And because I aligned with peace, I was actually able to raise my frequency. Now, that what's so interesting is I think most people would assume that surrendering to the possibility that your partner's going to die is very depressing, and that wouldn't raise your vibration. But with surrender came trust in the bigger picture. Peace is a very high vibration. Trust is a very high vibration. And so what was interesting is that actually after that day, my vibration raised aggressively. And I do believe that's probably why I tuned to reality where he stayed, because I was no longer in the resistance, in the deep upset. I was allowing myself to trust that the universe knew exactly what it was doing. And because I have other beliefs about the fact that I'm always taken care of, things are always working out for me, those beliefs were allowed to come in and be a reflection for me. And things worked out. And what's interesting is, unlike a lot of times where I feel like I'll have a realization and then I have to kind of come back to it, this was different. This has really stuck. There are several things that have come up, not nearly as intense as this, but just things that it's like, oh, like I wonder how that's going to work. And I just feel like I don't have any fear about things not working out. It's like my anxiety has really just, you know, gone from like a 7 to like a 2. Like, I feel like when you allow yourself to accept something as intense as what I was going through, you just see the world differently. And I feel like I've kind of come out of this cocoon I've been in for a couple years, and I just feel like I see the world differently. I have this ease at which I'm walking through. I don't feel like I need to fight for things as hard. I don't feel like I need to engage with that type of thing. I feel like I don't need to worry or strive in a challenging way to get what I need. It's really interesting. And I wouldn't ever say that I've become enlightened or anything like that, because I don't even believe enlightenment is a goal. It's you continue to be enlightened. But I would say this is the closest I've come so far in my life to one of those like things where they talk about like, oh, I had this like moment and now I see the world differently, where like it changed something like permanently. Like, I think this is the closest I've come to something like that. This is my abundance bowl from when we were in the camper, and I had not unpacked it yet. A piece of citrine. This is natural citrine. And a lot of citrine you find in the store is actually heat-treated amethyst, which is interesting because most people say that's fake citrine, which is technically true because it didn't come out of the ground that way. But from what I know, citrine has the same chemical makeup as amethyst, but it was a hotter environment. So technically heating amethyst does make real citrine. It's just man-made versus coming out of the ground. But this came out of the ground. And it does have a different feeling to it. It's pyrite. Both very abundant, lovely energies. This experience has made me live so much more in the present moment. They talk a lot about people who've had near-death experiences, but often they don't talk about how it affects the people around them. Your priorities shift. At least they did for me. I just feel like I'm just so much more in the present moment. I enjoy the little things more. I'm on my phone less. I'm just so appreciative for like everything is so beautiful. And I feel so much more connected to my inner being. I'm not trying to escape. It's like I'm here. I'm here. And within that, I feel so expanded. Thank you for joining me on this little back and forth. A few people had asked for me to go a little bit into what my experience was with the surrender from my last video, so I wanted to talk a little bit about it, and I may or may not make a video on how I do my money bowl. Comment down below if you want to see that. Thank you for watching. You're beautiful. You are loved. And we'll see you soon. Mwah. Much love.